They came from opposite sides of the United States, but William Denby Hanna and Joseph Roland Barbera might as well have come from different planets. Hanna was an outdoorsman instilled with a rock-solid work ethic. He had a natural gift for structure and timing that translated perfectly from engineering and construction to animation and production. Barbera was a street-smart artist-writer from Brooklyn who learned early to be self-reliant, confident, and resourceful. During Hanna's youth in Melrose, New Mexico, and Compton, California, young Bill relished his time on construction sites with his father, a structural engineer. There, he learned the values of organizing a project and working with a crew. The artistic talents of his mother and sisters inspired him to pursue a creative field. They imparted to me a great appreciation of rhythm, timing, and imagery, Hanna wrote in his memoir, A Cast of Friends. His love of music and innate sense of timing would prove to be lifelong. He decided against studying piano, but one of his favorite pastimes was writing verse. The Great Depression made some decisions for him. Sidelining the arts, Hanna joined his father in the construction of Hollywood's landmark Pantages Theater. Hanna's sister happened to be dating an employee of Leon Schlesinger, whose company made titles for the Warner Brothers studio and expanded into animated cartoons. Schlesinger had just hired 2 animators, Hugh Harman and Rudolph Ising. Rudy worked with Walt Disney during his Kansas City days and in the early Hyperion era. At Warner, Harman and Ising's new Merry Melodies cartoons would promote songs from the Warner Studio catalog and compete with Disney's hit Silly Symphony cartoons. They followed a similar format, featuring popular songs rather than classic and public domain music. Hanna eagerly started at the bottom, soaking up every aspect of animation production. He kept the studio tidy and washed the ink and paint off each of the finished cells, sheets of illustrated celluloid that, when placed over background art, created 1 or more frames of animation. Ising eventually allowed Hanna to participate in story development. I also began writing little songs that Harman and Ising began to incorporate into the early Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons, Hanna wrote. These lyrics were actually progressions of the whimsical little verses I had begun composing as a boy, never thinking at the time that they would ever lead to anything beyond maybe a family greeting. When Warner opened its own cartoon department, Hanna remained with Hugh and Rudy when Harman Ising, the name having a musical sound, became an independent studio, distributed through RKO Radio Pictures.